Mr. Nix arrives in the opening scene of this horror thriller. He's the man that gets called when a special case arises. Upon getting inside, he's welcomed by cow heads on sticks and a ritual circle drawn with blood. He notices that they didn't draw the circle well and corrects it, asking the officer with him to show him some light. Suddenly, the light falls to the ground, and the maimed corpse of the officer follows. Our guy remains unshaken, even when he sees a female creature slithering in the darkness. Calmly, he gets it to come close to him and cuffs her leg with a magic collar. Even Jonah, a soon-to-be married couple, gets their freak on in a feeble attempt to roleplay. Sadly, they barely get through the first 2 minutes because John is a wuss. He has to attend his bachelor party though, so his fiancée lays down a few rules. Jonah's brother Mac is the leader of this rebellion who drives the boys up to Garden City for a good time. Dude even collects everyone's phones and almost gets into an accident. Anyway, they arrive at Temptations, and the place sucks so bad that the strippers wear flip-flops. John shares knives with all his friends, and later has a talk about the wedding with Rand, while getting a lap dance. Mac's card declines, and while he's complaining, he meets a strange fellow who tells him about a place so intriguing it would make Temptations look like Sunday school. Ooh. He returns to their table and gets all of them to take some mushrooms before following this stranger. As they drive, the journey seems unending. That's until they arrive at a white mansion literally in the woods. Only good things happen in the woods, right? They're welcomed by classy ladies who take them to where the ladies wear less clothing. High on shrooms, the whole place stays spinning as they sit around a stripper. She mesmerizes them all, except Jonah, who keeps looking over his shoulder. Mr. Nix turns up in an antler mask to serenade the crowd. Somehow, he already knows Jonah's name and leads them into a secret part of the house, asking to fulfill Jonah's fantasies. After Mac describes the experience he wants for Jonah, Nix takes them into a befitting room. He singled out Jonah, even though he didn't like it. He ends up agreeing because of his friends. Yes, he takes him to yet another secret room. This one just happens to share a wall with the creature Nix had caught, aka Lily, aka the siren. She comes close to the only window and a very high Jonah doesn't feel any pressure. Back outside, Nix asks for payment in the form of their favorite memory of their mothers. He gets them to look at their shoes, and although Rand is stubborn, he does so too. Nix gets Ash to do her thing and claps his hands as he tells them it's over. He then sends them all back to the party. Lily begins to sing in a tone so melodious that it takes an already high Jonah even higher. He begins to relive all his sexual experiences so intensely that when she's done with him, he falls from the pleasure. Elliot sees a leech drink and flirts with Ash until she pours him one. Just then, they all realize that they now have foreign tattoos on their necks. Jonah overhears Lily begging for help and notices that she's locked up. He returns to check if she's okay, but she refuses to show herself. Meanwhile, Elliot vomits all over the bar. Jonah returns to get Rand to help him tell the others to ready the car. They then head back to free the siren with Rand's knife. He tries to discourage Jonah, but he doesn't listen. His reason? Because she sang. Back in the car, Mac and Elliot are impatiently waiting. Elliot, still under the influence, then begins to confess that he killed some young girl. All this while Jonah helps out the siren and even gives her his shirt. All three of them run like hell but still don't find the entrance because the landscape seems to be changing. They come across a huge masked guard who throws Rand around, leaving him to defend himself with a knife. As he stabs the guard multiple times, the siren seizes the opportunity to steal the keys from him before continuing her escape with Jonah. They hide in the bathroom while the siren uncuffs her leg. Just then, a guard approaches and she jumps out of the toilet stall, leaving our boy to watch as she maims and kills him. She casually rips off his man parts whilst wagging her tail. This freaks Jonah out and he makes a run for it. He successfully rushes to the car where he fills in Mac and Elliot on his grave mistake. People begin to rush out of the building, and they're lucky enough to pick up Rand amidst the chaos. Elliot keeps laughing until he suddenly gets taken. Out of surprise, Mac crashes into a tree only for them to witness Elliot get eaten moments later. They try to stop a strange car, but it runs over Rand, making Jonah and Mac bolt into the woods. Rand then gets captured by Mr. Nix. In the woods, Mac and Jonah hear growling and run straight into the swamp, after which Jonah realizes that she's after him and whatever smells like him. They both rub mud all over their bodies to hide their scents. It works. The siren actually walks past them and continues her search. On the flip, Nix interrogates Rand about their involvement in the evening, but our poor guy explains his innocence in vain. Mac and Jonah run into some cops at a diner, but have no idea that the cops have the same tattoo Nix had put on them. Word reaches Nix, and he has the brothers taken to the church. He then watches as his guard tortures Rand for effing up. The brothers get taken, not before Mac could get pepper sprayed though. The siren interrupts their arrest with her melody, and Jonah plugs his ears to tune out the sound. He runs back into the diner, but she chases him down and eats everyone. Jonah uncuffs himself by using a key from an officer's corpse, and the siren jumps in front of him. She pulls his earplugs just to confess that she has it bad for him. He manages to escape and taps the glass outside, trying to reach Mac. All of a sudden, the siren jumps on him and flies away with our boy. She drops him in a shallow pit further down and brings him back into it no matter how many times he tries to leave. She then takes off his pants and sings a sweet melody that makes Jonah see her as Eva. Things get steamy before he can snap out of it. He later freaks out for the umpteenth time that night, but she rides him anyway. Our boy screams as he climaxes, and it's just the signal that Mac needs to locate him. Back to Rand. It turns out that Ash has leeches for hair, and she puts one into Rand's tattoo to collect his worst memory, per Nix's orders. She sends it out to Jonah. Jonah wakes up to the sound of his phone ringing and stealthily limps out of the pit to pick up Eva's call. He tries to tell her what happened, but ends up telling her how much he loves her. The line then cuts off, leaving our boy in tears as he continues limping to safety. He finally sees the Thunderbird Inn and gets a room for himself, only to meet Tarp already on the floor. He sees Ash sitting and she hands him the drink with a leech in it, pulling a gun as she threatens to kill him if he refuses to cooperate. He reluctantly drinks and begins to see, feel, and remember everything Rand experienced. Nix leaves a message. He needs the siren, and Jonah needs Rand, so he proposes an exchange, leaving the remaining details for Ash to handle. She takes him back to Nix, where he gets handed a magic leg collar that can keep the siren under Nix's control. Jonah is just happy to reunite with Rand and promises to leave with him. Lily flies to the building and immediately begins to tear people apart. The lights go out, and when they come back on, Nix uses Jonah as a hostage to lure Lily into the magic circle. Jonah switches the script that Nix had given him, as he hands the siren a chance to go home just like he wants to. She takes it and separates the guard from the others. Nix almost kills Jonah because of this, but Mac hits him with a rod just in time. He then hands Jonah a knife to release Rand. Lily, on the other hand, easily picks off the separated guard while Nix slits Mac's throat in the main building. She begins to sing. Jonah and Mac are quick enough to cover their ears, but not Nix. Lily gets him on his knees before she stabs him through the mouth using her tail. Afterwards, Jonah goes to pay his last respects to Mac's body before getting back to leaving with Rand. Lily asks him not to go, so he hesitates. They later share a goodbye kiss before she flies away. It's finally daybreak, and as they escape, she watches them from atop the church. Jonah goes home to Eva, and they share an emotional hug. On their anniversary, he hears the siren song but dismisses it to make sweet love to his wife. Afterwards, he heads downstairs only to see the real Eva sleeping on the couch. Jonah sees Lily walking out of his bedroom and drops the knife he had picked up. He tries to get her out, but Eva wakes up midway and screams, making Lily attack her. Jonah then offers himself in place of Eva's safety, and all she can do is yell Jonah's name as she watches them fly into the rainfall.